The House of Commons recently honored Canada's 21st Prime Minister with the unveiling of his official portrait. The room was filled with former colleagues of the Right Honourable Paul Martin, like Speaker of the House, Jeff Reagan.
Paul Martin was born into a political home with his father, Paul Martin Sr., who was a member of the House of Commons for more than 30 years, who served in 4 governments as a cabinet minister and who ran for the leadership of the Liberal Party in 1967. Now, some of us on this stage have an inkling of what effect that can have on a boy's career choices sooner or later.
Nobody would have thought at the beginning of his term that he could have accomplished what he accomplished in balancing the books, cleaning up the balance sheet, running consecutive surplus budgets, paying down the debt, and investing at the same time in jobs, in infrastructure, in cities, in innovation and science and children and families and education, all of those things that made the country stronger.
He was the best Minister of Finance ever for Canada. What he did during the 90s and 2000 on balancing the budget, getting surpluses, getting the economy on the track was close to miraculous, and he deserves most of the credit for that.
During his long tenure as Finance Minister, he was responsible for creating the Canadian Foundation for Innovation, a fund that helped to build the country's foundation as a smart economy. As well, he introduced the National Child Benefit, a measure that lifted over 23,000 families above the poverty line.
And his accomplishments as Prime Minister are just as impressive. Under his leadership, same-sex marriage became legal in Canada. That meant that people could no longer be discriminated against because of who they love.
In his first remarks, Mr. Martin paid tribute to Paul Wise, the painter he selected to create his portrait.
I want to pay tribute to Paul Wise. With major works in collections across the continent, from the National Portrait Gallery of the Smithsonian Institute to the Steinway Hall collection, Paul Wise has firmly established himself as one of North America's preeminent portrait painters. His talent is a great gift.
Paul Martin served as Canada's Prime Minister for just a little over 2 years at the helm of a minority government. But his legacy, a work still in progress, will go far beyond his tenure as Minister of Finance and Prime Minister. Now, Paul Martin dedicates his time and energy to help Aboriginal peoples in their quest for equal opportunity and is involved in other humanitarian projects.
His largest passion, though, I think, was toward Indigenous people. And that was represented in the Kelowna Accord, which just stood out in bright relief of a great policy that perhaps as political events unfolded was a little bit ahead of its time.
It brought all of the jurisdictions in Canada together with plus the 5 national Indigenous organizations, and everyone at the table said yes. And that's a remarkable achievement, and it was all possible because of Mr. Martin's, as I said, his passion, his commitment, his determination to do right by all peoples, especially Indigenous peoples.
Mr. Martin leveraged his experience as Prime Minister to become an important and respected statesman who instituted many global and domestic initiatives, a few of which notably included the African Development Bank, the Coalition for Dialogue on Africa, and the Global Ocean Commission. You have been, Mr. Martin, and continue to be, a model for all Canadians.
After the unveiling ceremony, guests were invited to a party. The ballroom of the Sir John A. Macdonald building was filled to capacity. The ambiance was festive and musicians were on stage to entertain the crowd. Paul Martin's resume is impressive. Successful businessman, parliamentarian, Minister of Finance, Prime Minister, and humanitarian, just to name a few of the many roles he has assumed. For CPAC, I'm Philippe Murat.